And his name is Daryl Brunson.
Is that right?
Yeah.
So many connections that you have.
But
so many
we don't think
commonalities.
we're related. We don't know that we are or are not. But anyway, that's where I've been. That's why I'm running late.
No, it's all right. Well, no, I thought that you were coming back from the mountains this morning. Your mornings with Mac was up in the mountains. That was a quick trip.
That was I flew the Concorde. Back.
Little movie making magic, I think, was happening there. You got a little bit of a delayed release, premiered this morning. Yeah. Well, thanks for being here. I got you a turkey.
I see.
So we've got this. It's been in cellophane. It hadn't been sitting out too long, only about 11 or 12 days. It should still be good. It's made of foam.
It's like that old guy. What's that old guy in Oh Brother, Where Art Thou? He kills the mule and he says, we've had it for about, what does he say, about 3 weeks? I think it's starting to turn.
Man, that movie's incredible.
It is.
The soundtrack for that movie won the Grammy for Album of the Year.
That's a real turkey.
No, it's
Is it not?
It's not. It's a real foam. It's
foam.
Yeah, it does have a very real feel to it, doesn't it?
Yeah. Well, when I punched it, I thought, well, that thing's real.
Well, you would know. Now, did you slaughter that turkey? You posted that on Twitter. You did that personally?
I was to go and participate in the execution of that turkey. But I had out-of-town guests, and I could not get out there, so my grandchildren went.
Oh, okay, cool.
And they
got to see it all
happen. They got
happen.
to do mine and theirs and pick all the feathers off and all of that. That's good for them.
So you chose not to pardon the turkey this year?
No. I don't pardon anything if you're going to eat it. Eat it.
Does that still happen? Does the president still pardon a turkey every year?
He did it the other day.
That is such a funny tradition. The pardoning of the turkey. Well,
who knows where these things come from?
I know. Well, I've been studying there's so many. This is a little bit off topic, but I've been studying like the liturgy of the church throughout the centuries, and there's so many things that like high liturgical churches do, just because it came up as a result of one heresy they were trying to push down, or it came up as a result of discipleship in a particular generation, and then the generation passes away. They still continue to do it, and people are like, "Why do we do this?" Yeah. So
that's like the Latin Mass.
Correct.
Which nobody could understand.
That's right.
And, of course, Vatican II changed that. But so many of them decided we want to go back. We like the Latin Mass. We can't understand a cotton-picking thing that they're saying. But,
So I learned this. You already knew. You might have even said this before, but I learned this past week. The words hocus pocus.
That's
like
out
we
of the
say.
Mass.
It's out of the Mass. Yeah. Hoc est corpus.
That's right.
This is my body.
Yeah.
And they would lift up the bread, and so people believed it was magical because the bread was literally turning into the body of Christ.
Yeah.
Hoc est corpus. There you go.
Well, that's
incredible.
That's what really threw Luther when he went to Rome, and he saw all these priests that had gotten drunk off of the wine.
The communion.
And they were slurring, the Latin through the Mass.
Well,
they skipping parts and all like that. He did a Mass while he was there.
Well, he was a priest, yeah.
Yeah, he did. He participated and did a Mass while he was there. But it was just stunning for him to see the abuse that was going on.
Well, and part of the reason they were drunk was not, obviously there were a lot of corruption, but also they had to say so many Masses, right? Yeah. Because people were paying them, say this Mass for me, say this Mass for somebody in there. Yeah. So they had to say dozens of these a day.
Pilgrimages, people on pilgrimages going through there, and they would just rip them off.
But hey, speaking of Latin, we've got to start here. I've been desperate to talk to you about this. Speaking of Latin, you brought this up yesterday as an illustration, both in multiple uses of the word illustration. You brought up that painting of Christ in Borja, Spain. Yeah, Ecce Homo. Behold the man. Yeah. Beautiful fresco of Christ. Fresco meaning it's a mural that's painted on a wall. Beautiful fresco of Christ. By Elias Martinez. Painted in the 1930s. Mm-hmm. And this became an internet phenomenon. Did you know that this was an internet phenomenon?
No, I didn't.
No, in 2012, this became an internet phenomenon because this elderly woman got the approval of the priest there at the church where this fresco's painted. to restore it because the painting was flaked away. Yeah. And I'm sorry that we can't put the picture back up here.
Where's our backdrop?
I had to trade it in to get this turkey. This turkey cost several $1,000s. But if you look it up, if you look ECCEHOMO, the Ecce Homo, you will see the beautiful picture that it originally was, and then it was restored.
Yeah.
Can you even put into words what the restoration looks like?
Oh, it's horrible. It has got, it's been assigned all kind of names, which I'm not going to repeat.
Oh, okay. You don't want to.
They're all so derogatory, but it's. I'm stopping you before you start that. I'm looking out for you.
Okay, thank you. Have you seen Have you seen where they've taken the restoration and pasted that onto other works of art?
No.
Like God and Adam on the Sistine Chapel, and so the marred Jesus is touching the finger of God, and all of this.
No.
And
it's
I guess
horrible.
I should have known you wouldn't like this.
It's terrible, but it's typical of how we try to step in. That was the whole application point, was how we try to step in and solve our issues that we cannot solve, that we've really created, and we try to solve it when only God's the one who could do that.
And we make everything worse. We
do.
Mess everything
That's
up.
That was the exact point I was trying to make. Look at how we just make everything so much worse by trying to do it our way.
Can I give you another hot take on the Ecce Homo?
Yeah.
Okay, and the restoration thereof.
Yeah.
So it's Josh.
Has it been restored? Has anybody done anything with it?
Did they re-restore it? Brody's nodding. Did they re-restore?
We were having a sec.
Joanna, look this up. Because that was 2012. They've had 10 years now to restore this.
I wonder if anybody went and did anything with that.
Our new technical director, Josh Pike, it's his first official day on the job today. He's in the studio. Before you came in, because we had plenty of time to talk, before you came in, he said, I think that the strange restoration, is actually even more faithful to Scripture. I said, what are you talking about? And he said, it's because Paul says that Christ was marred beyond all recognition.
Oh, well, yeah.
I had to give that one to him. He's coming in on fire today. The first day on the job, and
that's
putting me in my
thought
place.
Of that.
So he wins. But either way,
of course, Isaiah says there was nothing about him that we would.
I know.
Be drawn to him.
That's right. Well, a good point.
I had somebody make a comment to me about that when they were talking about. Was it Jim Caviezel? That they said that Jim Caviezel was, such a handsome man that could not have been what Jesus looked like because of what Isaiah said.
Good point. Jim Caviezel, of course, the star of The Passion of the Christ. Excellent movie.
Yeah. I had a chance to spend time with him.
Oh, really?
Yeah, interviewed him. He came down to the church for a weekend. And
I love that.
Yeah.
Because he
really nice, very quiet.
Because he's really a faithful believer.
He is. Yeah. Very pro-life. He has really suffered in Hollywood because of his stand for Christ. Yeah,
I remember
for life.
They asked Mel Gibson, of course, the famed director of The Passion of the Christ, why did you choose Jim Caviezel to be Christ in the movie? And you remember what he said? He said, "Well, he's 33 and his initials are JC, so I figured there was no other place to go."
Well, so was John Coffey, and
that's
Green
a good
Mile.
Point. Yeah, John. He was 33 initials. JC. Michael Clark Duncan.
That was done on purpose, by the way.
I believe it.
Yeah.
Michael Clark Duncan passed away recently. The famed actor that played.
Did you see where they wanted Shaq to play that?
Are you kidding me?
No,
they
I'm
wanted
serious.
Shaq to be in that movie.
It just came out the other day. I was reading an article. They wanted Shaq to play that. Shaquille O'Neal. He's a number one. He's a great guy. Number two, he was unbelievable to watch play. I had the chance to see him in person several times in Dallas when he played, and I would look at a 310, 315-pound man run up and down a basketball court, and you just think about the pressure on his knees. And man, he was an incredible player.
He had the longevity too. He played for so long.
Yeah.
Then he went away and. Well, yeah, he was kind of a journeyman there at the end of his career. He won that other championship in Miami.
I just like Shaquille O'Neal. I love the way he's rearing his children. I like what he said. You know, his kids came up and said, you know, we're millionaires. And he said, you're not, I am.
That's right. Are we rich? Well, I'm rich. If you want money someday, you're going to have to go and earn it.
That's exactly right.
Yeah, Jerry Seinfeld said the same thing. I'm rich.
So
I don't know about all y'all. Yeah, Shaq, what a personality. The big unit.
Yeah.
No, that was Randy Johnson. The big Aristotle. That's what they called Shaq, because he was like all low. He said he was loquacious. So I'm showing my cards as a huge NBA fan. We should probably talk more about the message. Did you have anything else you wanted to talk about?
You know, there was one thing, and I'm almost hesitant to bring this up because of the trial last week in
Minnesota.
What's that? Yeah,
Rittenhouse. Yeah, Kyle Rittenhouse. Yeah. Oh boy, yeah.
And I did not
Don't
bring
get
it up.
political.
I did not bring it up yesterday for this reason. And I worked on this before any of that came in. This was, and it's here in the text. What was in the new decree that Mordecai? I skipped that, and I skipped it purposefully because I knew somebody would take this as being a political statement, which it's not.
It's just in the text here.
In the text, you find chapter 8, verse 11, when Mordecai puts together a decree to override the decree of Haman to kill the Jews. In them the king granted the Jews, who were in each and every city, the right to assemble and defend their lives, to destroy, to kill, and to annihilate. He's using the exact language that Haman had used.
In the other decree.
Yes. Yeah. In fact, the decree almost parallels the former decree to kill the Jews. He said, now, in that, what I wanted to point out is that the Jews were not free to go and start war on anybody.
Correct.
They were free to defend themselves.
If someone
and I didn't want to get into that whole thing of, well, are you making some kind of, are you making an aversion to the trial of this past week? Are you saying that the guy was? I'm not saying any of that. I'm not dealing with any of that. I am dealing with this. And to say that in a royal decree implied that the king supported it naturally and that the king would back it up so that none of the people would go up and just start wholesale slaughtering the Jews, which is what the former decree had said they could do.
Well, and that's yet another.
Go out, find a Jew, kill him.
That's yet another reversal. You kept talking about this theme of reversal.
It's another reversal in the text. When you put Haman's edict up, and then you put Mordecai's edict up, you see there's an amazing reversal of that. They're so much alike, but this time instead of the Jews being attacked, war being declared on the Jews, now the Jews are given the right to defend themselves.
It really is a theme of this entire book.
It is.
That idea. You could almost entitle
There's
a sermon series.
Well, there is a book, and I've not used it much. It just doesn't have a whole lot of meat to it, but there is a book entitled The Reversals of Esther. All the things that are reversed in this book.
That's a really you talking about like just leaving this out in the text of the message is a really interesting kind of window inside your thought process in preparing the message. Like because there are these things where you're almost protecting the congregation from going to this place mentally when you're trying to focus on the gospel.
Well, I wrote this in my sermon. I manuscript everything.
Yes.
And this is in my sermon, but yesterday I just dropped it out.
Felt
I just
in the spirit.
Well, it's sad that we've come to the time to where we listen for the offense.
Right, yes, right.
All I'm going to do is I'm going to listen to you to see where I can be offended. Just go ahead, say something.
I love you, Pastor Mac.
Well, so
Deeply
I'd love to have talked about that because I think it gives another reversal, gives you a little insight into the text, but I felt like that happening this past week was just best not to bring it up.
I think there's a lot of wisdom there. So you're saying you actually think about these sermons ahead of time. You don't just get up. I thought you just get up there and you just start, open the Word and just start talking.
Hand me that stick over there.
Well, it's because me too. I just kind of flip through the hymnal and pick a few songs and then we just wing it.
And then you just take the rest of the week and sit down. by the pool and sip, Arnold Palmer's and
virgin Arnold Palmer's.
yeah. Well, there's nothing but a virgin Arnold Palmer. That's just tea and lemonade. So anyway.
That's a big callback. I think that was several months ago we were talking about that. Anyway, yes. So thank you, Pastor, for putting the thought. Thank you for being after the heart of the congregation. I think it was wise to bring that up today because it is in the text. We don't really want to skip what the text says.
You
it's
don't.
In there.
But you do have to at times think about it's just the day we live in. Tragically, sadly, it is sad because you never. I don't think any preacher intends to get up. Let me see who I can offend today, who I can get upset and get mad today. Right. But, you have to think about it.
Definitely. Well, let's think about a couple things more before we close. Well, I guess first I should ask you, is there anything else that you left out yesterday that you're dying to get across?
The other part of that is it's fascinating to me, and I think about it every time I see it. If you look back up in verse 9, it says, "And the princes of the provinces which extended from India to Ethiopia, 127 provinces." That's the 1040 window.
Right. Oh, yeah.
That whole thing is the 1040 window, which today, the 1040 window is where the largest unreached people groups happen to be. And that's just so dominates when I look at it, that's all I can think about.
That thousands of years later, it's still the same thing.
There's
still a stronghold.
Yeah.
I think you said yesterday that it's something like 6,000 different languages.
There's over 6,000 different language groups and that have never heard the gospel in their language.
That's what we were doing when I was in China from 2009 to 2011. That's one of the things we were looking at is like what different dialects are, because a lot of them are just still they're under documented.
Mm-hmm.
We were looking with Tibetan peoples and just see, of course, all that's impossible now. China is so closed.
Yeah.
I guess we should probably say hi to them. They're watching this right now.
Yeah, they've got a guy who rules there who thinks he's God. Yeah, he has undertaken to rewrite the Bible.
Literally?
Yes.
He's doing like a new state-sponsored translation of the Bible.
Yeah.
Wow,
but
I didn't know that.
It will not be. You can be sure it's not going to be the King James Version edition.
I would.
It's
I
going
would
to be
imagine
very
so.
pro-China, very pro-communist.
That's sad. I didn't even know that was happening.
That's
we
happening.
Need to continue to.
They've taken down, in some of the churches, what are they? The CCC?
Yes.
The 3C.
The three selves churches. Yeah.
They've taken down the picture of Christ and they've put up his picture.
That's right, the president's picture. But you said this. You brought this up a little bit yesterday to say that is not outside of God's sovereignty and control.
No.
That God can use pagan rulers, that God can use rulers.
Sure. Can God put into a pagan ruler's mind a good thought? Well, sure. He does it right here. When Xerxes calls in, Mordecai and Esther, and he says, look, you rewrite this thing. You write up a law. And he gives them, this is how you're going to do it. You cannot just do away with it, but you can override it. You can countermand the thing.
Isn't that Psalm 2? Like man rages and the people's plot in vain, but he who sits in the heavens laughs.
That's exactly.
God is sitting back and just
laughing at the arrogance of man.
And one day he will have his judgment.
He will have the final say. Yep.
Well, tell me, I want us to talk about Thanksgiving plans in a second, but first tell us where you're going to go with the message this coming Sunday.
I don't know. I haven't really started, but I'm going to finish it up. Of course, you've got the Feast of Purim.
Right.
That comes out of this, and they still celebrate this, by the way. I think we talked a little bit about that last week. They still celebrate this. There is a festival. It mentions that for the Jews, a feast and a holiday. That's in verse 17 of chapter 8. And then you're going to get that in the 9th and the 10th chapter. So it ends on a very high note. It ends on a celebration. The book of Esther opens on a celebration. It ends on a celebration. It opens on a pagan celebration. It ends with the people of God celebrating.
Well, that's good. And we have
reversal.
I love it. Well, we've got a celebration in front of us, so we'll have the celebration of Thanksgiving, then we'll have the celebration there on Sunday. Should be a good day. It's also the first Sunday of Advent coming up. Advent being that traditional church season, right. The 4 Sundays before Christmas, and this is the first of those 4. So we'll start singing the Christmas music this week.
Good.
And then with the following week, we've got the big Advent music.
Yeah, the music
service.
The service for that day.
And then, but before then, we got Thanksgiving plans. I'm heading up to I'm heading up to the in-laws in Florence. No, that's just the laws, not the in-laws.
Oh,
yeah, my folks are up there. The outlaws. The outlaws. That's my favorite line from Robin Hood. We've got an outlaw for an in-law. That is so good. So my folks live up in Maryland, but we'll see them. They're going to come down for Christmas. I'm super excited. So 2 thumbs up.
Get to see your folks.
But no, Christmas we're going to the in-laws in Florence, up in the Shoals, Muscle Shoals area.
Well, I'm going to head up into the mountains.
You going back to the mountains?
Yeah. All the the families up there, and Courtney and Barry and their kids, they're headed up.
Oh, so, good. That's going to be nice.
So, and then the boys will come at Christmas and destroy the house.
Yes, isn't that how it works?
Those grand boys.
I tell my wife, because everybody also comes to our house because Birmingham's kind of centrally located, and I'm always like, why do we clean this up before they get here? Yeah. Because then it's just
so they've got something really nice to mess up. So, anyway.
It's in disarray almost immediately.
Those boys will be down at 5:30 in the morning.
Yes.
Doc, we want to go fishing.
Yes.
I said, well, you can't go out there by yourself.
The pond is iced over, son.
Well, we want to go fishing. Well, you can't go out there without your daddy. Daddy's asleep. I said, well, go wake him up.
I'm sure
go up there to his room. Wake
the
him
Christmas
up.
Vacation.
See what he says.
We'll have to talk more about Christmas stuff when we get there. There's the Thanksgiving plans. We already talked about our favorite foods last week. We don't need to. Well, do you guys have any odd Thanksgiving traditions? Do you do anything that only your family does?
They're not odd to us.
Well, I talk about this every year. I always thought that everybody ate sauerkraut at Thanksgiving. That was just part of the Thanksgiving meal.
You and the Germans.
That's what I'm saying. I didn't know. Viva the Germans. Yeah, I didn't realize that was something that we did that was different from everybody else. But we always had sauerkraut.
Boy, you really are German, aren't you?
I get it. Must be in there somewhere.
Were y'all part of the Hessians that came over with the British?
I don't know.
I
gotta look this up.
You're German. It's obvious. Bullis.
I thought that was British.
I don't think so.
Look this up. You guys get me a 23andMe
but
for
not
Christmas.
Bullis.
Oh, okay. Well, I guess I trust you over just a cursory Google search. Gurgle search? Maybe I need to stop going to gurgle.com.
Rabbi Google. Rabbi Google has all the answers.
Google. So. Well, you guys have a safe Thanksgiving holiday out there.
Good Thanksgiving.
Don't overdose on tryptophan. Don't do anything we wouldn't do. And we'll see you back here. We'll be back here next Monday, right?
Yeah, I will be.
Yeah, we'll be back here. So
raring to go.
Stay safe.
God bless.
Love you guys.
It's German. Bullis. You can hear Germans saying it. Bullis.
Comes from the Old English word bullock, which literally means